I used to have this catchphrase that I would introduce all of my videos with. I'm the best Nuzlocker in the world. Best Nuzlocker in the world. Best Nuzlocker. Best Nuzlocker. Best Nuzlocker. Best Nuzlocker. Okay, first of all, Nuzlocker is totally not a word, okay? But also, is there still any truth to this? Am I really still the best Nuzlocker in the world? Well, in this video, wait, hold on. What the hell are you talking about? Of course I'm not. I mean, was I at one point? Probably, maybe, but in the year of our Lord 2025? When people are regularly doing games deathless that I used to boast about barely beating, when people hardcore Nuzlocke games that I deemed impossible to do, when people come up with gorgeous, clean, beautiful lines in disgustingly hard games like Run and Bun faster and more consistently than I ever could, of course I'm not the best Nuzlocker in the world. Obviously, it's Safety Man. But while I did hold my own quite well during the big run I did last year, a run whose video will hopefully come out soon, we've been working on it for 6 months now, I do wonder, how do I directly compare to some of the best Nuzlockers right now? I mean, I've fallen off. Okay, I know I've fallen off. Sure, I'm really just a content creator now, but how bad am I compared to them? Am I even still in the same league? This video is a story about many things. Ego, titles, and the huge difference that preparation and motivation can make. It's a comeback story, and it's a story about how I learned a new relationship with my title as best Nuzlocker in the world. When a small, up-and-coming content creator friend of mine asked me to participate in a Nuzlocke race against other pros, I was curious at the opportunity. Scared and anxious, it's hard to build a brand over years that I've literally advertised with me being the best, then actually have to show that skill in direct comparison to others in front of thousands of people, but I was still curious. The game we're racing is a modified version of Pokemon Emerald. It's basically just shorter and has Generation 9 mechanics. I figured between my knowledge of the Pokedex and my years of Nuzlocking experience, thousands and thousands of hours, blah blah blah, you know the drill, I'd have every tool I need to win this race. There was one wrinkle though. The box of Pokemon we'd use to run through the game would be decided by an auction. So we're not catching the first Pokemon every route, we're actually picking all of our Pokemon beforehand. It's just that it still has Nuzlocke rules in the sense that if a Pokemon dies, it can't be used anymore. Okay, cool. Alpharad gave us all 15,000 Alpha Fun Bucks or whatever to spend on over 100 Pokemon he put on the auction block over the course of the draft. We'd all then take turns bidding for the Pokemon, and the person with the highest bid would get it. The day of the event, I show up, you know, completely unprepared, because hey, it's basically vanilla Emerald, how hard could this be? At first, I thought my draft was going fine. My initial strategy was just to draft a bunch of weak Pokemon for super cheap, so I'd have tons of resources to throw at every gym. After all, in Nuzlocke, the more encounters you have, the better, right? Sacrificing your Pokemon is really powerful. Because I had a bunch of money saved up, I thought I could snipe something powerful at the end and make the most of it. Instead, all I got out of that strategy was a very expensive Palafin, a Pokemon that doesn't really work with the whole speed aspect of the race. Palafin starts the battle as a pretty weak Pokemon, but if you switch it out and then bring it back in, its 0 to hero ability gives it stats that make even some legendaries look mid. I can definitely see that being broken in a straight up normal Nuzlocke, but in a race where I have to complete the game as fast as possible, I simply don't have time. During this entire draft, I kind of completely neglected the speed aspect of this whole competition, to be honest. I didn't even think about it. We took a little bit of time between the draft and the actual race, and the more I looked at my box, the more I knew I was screwed. There are a lot of really good Pokemon here in a vacuum, sure, but because the game follows vanilla Emerald level caps, and because evolution items were placed in the department store in Lily Cove, most of my Pokemon wouldn't evolve into their powerful final forms until way too late to be useful for most of the race. The early game looked okay, and so did the late game, but the part between Watson and Tate and Liza, which has, you know, half of the gym badges, it looked really tough. It's fine, I told myself. I'm a great Nuzlocker. Hell, I was probably the best in the world at some point. I can think my way through these battles, and maybe I can make up some time with my overworld movement. I have to change so many. Fuck me. Fuck. I'm gonna run into an optional. I can fucking smell that shit. Yep, knew it. It's the double battle too. Let's try to not run into the optionals on Cycling Road, but if it happens, I accept it. Yep, there we go. It's fine. See, I mentally prepared for it and accepted my fate, and now I'm not mad. Do you really have to do all these doubles in Vanilla Emerald when pathing through Flannery's gym? I don't remember this from the speedruns at all. And now, I don't know. I don't remember. Okay, or not. In the end, I was able to pilot this box through the first 8 gym badges, but between my glacially slow mid-game and brutal overworld movement, I was a full 20 minutes behind the frontrunners by the time I made it to the Elite Four. It looked like I was at least going to be able to finish in a respectable 4th place, but fate had other plans. Okay, we high jump kick here. It's so fucking over, man. How fucking stupid. I'll try to go to 2. Yeah. I think I lose. It is what it is, man. This is like the 7th time in a row this run that like something survives on 1 HP, but it's whatever. Like, the box could have had a much safer E4 here, obviously, but like I have to like go all in, right, with what's just in my party. The race, by the way, wound up having an incredibly exciting finish. Flygon HG entered the Elite Four with about a 5-minute lead on 2nd place Wacko, but Wacko kept pushing. When Flygon's only check to water types, his Breloom, got obliterated by Wallace's lead Wailord, things got interesting. Flygon could only chip away at Wallace's bulky water types, and Wacko was able to blast through them with his Electrode, making up a 4-minute deficit on the final fight to win the race. So maybe Wacko's the best Nuzlocker in the world now? No, that's probably not how it works. It was the kind of finish a creator like AlphaRad can only hope for when he plans an event like this, and it's made for an awesome end for everybody watching. Meanwhile, there I was, struggling just to make my way to Evergrande City, stuck on the outside, looking in. I came into the Elite Four super late, and to make things worse, was the only person that day to actually wipe. To Vanilla Emerald. Sure, there was a few factors that I couldn't have reasonably prepared for, but this was an embarrassing performance. I knew I could do better than that, so when AlphaRad invited me back for a 2nd try, I put my head down and got to work. My ego was cracked, and I devised an auction strategy that would ensure my Pokemon weren't just strong in a vacuum, but could work for all phases of the run, early, mid, and late game. I practiced my bike movement, and studied my routes through the gym and the overall game as a whole, so I wouldn't run into optional trainers after optional trainer, wouldn't just forget HMs like I did on my first attempt, and would generally just always know where to go. I mean, sure, I may not be the best anymore, but maybe, if I actually prepare instead of just showing up, I could show off my real potential. Hold on a second, did my high school teachers maybe have like a really good point? For this next event, there was one major rule change, because AlphaRad realized the last one didn't really challenge us as Nuzlockers in the way that he wanted to see. This time, whatever Pokemon we used to take the final KO in a gym would die in the process. This means you can't just sweep through the entire game with one good Pokemon. It also means you have to strategize way more on these gym fights. The combination of just less Pokemon in general, and 8 forced sacrifices was really going to make us think about these otherwise pretty simple vanilla fights. My draft strategy needed revision anyway, but this rule change really made me focus. I made a list of all the different roles I needed for the race, basically a Pokemon that could beat each important fight. Additionally, a Pokemon I could sack on each gym fight. My budget during the auction, divided by the amount of rolls I needed, was the amount I'd be willing to pay per roll for each Pokemon. So, if my budget is, let's say, 10k and I have 20 rolls to fill, each roll is worth 500. If I see a Pokemon up for auction like Fungus that sweeps Roxanne, and that I can then sack to her because it's useless and slow after, that's 2 rolls filled, and I'm willing to pay 1k for it at most. Look at this, I had like an active spreadsheet up while I was drafting that I was filling out. I basically made an entire plan on how I was going to beat the game while I was drafting. Another huge mistake I made during the first draft was not looking up Pokemon's movesets and evolution levels while drafting. This led to me drafting some horrible stuff like Weavile, whom I thought would be great until I realized how absolutely horrendous its learn set was. For race number 2, I had Bulbapedia open at all times. Look at how locked in I am here. I executed my strategy pretty well. I had coverage for just about every major fight in the game. But I realized I did make a major error. I somehow drafted 14 Pokemon and didn't have a single electric type for Winona and Juan. Thankfully, the final round of this draft was a trading round, and both Flygon and I had something the other player needed. I agreed to send my Abra for Flygon's Toxel, giving him access to powerful teleport strategies for overworld time save, in exchange for patching up the electric type sized hole in my team. I didn't think much about the overworld half of the race the first time around. I wasn't going to make the same mistake again. I thought about everything. I practiced my bike movement. I planned out when I was going to make detours to pick up necessary HMs like strength. I budgeted and planned out a route for repels so I could avoid unnecessary encounters. I was literally using time during the auction when other players were fighting over mons I didn't need to practice my overworld movement even more. The gloves were fully off and it was time to start the race. Flygon HG, Nakolai, Wacko, Captain Kidd, all fantastic players in their own right, were ready to embarrass this old man one more time. But I wasn't having any of it this time around. And then, in Roxanne's gym, it looked like none of my preparation was going to come into play at all. My Fungus took out her first Geodude with a clean Mega Drain, but her Nose Pass just wouldn't die. By the time I finally got through all the potion spamming, both my Fungus and Makuhita were in the red, and my back was against the wall. Makuhita was specifically drafted by me as my Norman counter. I can't have it take out Roxanne's last Pokemon here, because by the new Gym Slayer rule, I would then lose Makuhita and lose my Norman counter. My draft was so tightly budgeted that I had no room for error. Here, I had to put into play another lesson from the last race. In Nuzlocke, I'll do whatever it takes to increase my odds of getting through a fight, deathless, even if it means staring at calculators for an hour. In a race like this, sometimes you just gotta send it and hope that your mons clutch up. It's tackling though, maybe? It was slower than the other Geodude. Okay. Oh, let's fucking go! The sound attack strats, baby! That was close, got my heart racing, and I've never felt more alive. Next, against Brawly, the Floette I hand-picked for this fight missed a crucial range against Meditite, letting it set up Light Screen. I tried to set up Quilava, my planned sacrifice for the final kill, against Brawly's Makuhita, but it started setting up Bulk Ups, and I had to take the scenic route to finish this fight, poisoning it with Beedrill, stalling it out, making the switch back to Quilava just in time for the poison to kill to keep my strategy in line with what I wanted to do. I'm on fire at this point. I feel the passion returning, and I'm having so much fun. It feels like I'm truly back. Just like last time, I was in 4th place after 2 badges. But this time, all I needed to get back in the game was some clean overworld movement. Time to show off what I've learned in my training arc. Not now, Roxanne! I practiced this! It's free.
My God, this is what I meant. They are competitive, and it is showing right here.
The big issue with my drafting strategy in the first race was that my Pokemon just weren't strong at early levels. In some cases, they stayed as useless first stage evolutions for way too long. In other cases, like with Dracovish, a single stage mon you'd expect to be really strong with these stats, they didn't have any good moves at these low level caps. But this time, I made sure to target Pokemon who could excel at every relevant level cap. Part of why I targeted Makuhita is that it evolves into Hariyama at level 24, the level cap for Watson. Trapinch doesn't evolve until 35, but that's fine, because it still has a broken ground typing for this fight and a surprising 100 base attack. These two combined to destroy the Watson fight. It wasn't enough to fully catch up against Flygon HG and Wacko, the pair that was neck and neck at the end of the last race, but I had made my way up to 3rd place, just about a minute behind the front runners. Lava Ridge Gym was another rough one for me in the first race, but this time I knew the path through. My plan for Flannery centered around Pelipper, but there was one problem. Abilities on our Pokemon were randomly rolled between their standard abilities. I knew it at the time, but I was willing to risk the coin flip and hope I got a Pelipper with the ability Drizzle, which sets rain, making its water attacks do way more damage. Instead, I got this. Ugh, fuck me in the ass, bro. It's fine, it's quiet nature, chat. It's quiet nature. Drizzle Pelipper would have ruined Flannery and made the fight free. Instead, this fight is looking like the gatekeeper between me and a potential 1st place in this race. They gave this gym permanent Misty terrain, just for the vibes. Just send it, Pelipper. Good luck. I think this kills, right? Oh! Pelipper may not have rolled the ability I wanted, but its quiet nature definitely mattered. Without the 10% boost to its special attack, there's no way that second Water Pulse kills through the sun. I then went to Finizen to barely tank an Overheat, and managed to get away with sacrificing it as the Gym Slayer after it somehow one-shot Slugma through the sun with a YOLO dive. Palafin might seem like too good of a Pokemon to throw away here, but if anybody knew late game Palafin was a trap, it was me. With that blazing fast fight, I moved up to second place, less than a minute behind Flygon HG. Next was Norman. This was bound to be a huge turning point in the run for a couple of reasons. First, with a bunch of evolution items moved to Petalburg Mart, our teams were about to enjoy a huge power spike. I evolved Floette into Florges here, whose firepower is enormous for this point in the game, and will be one-shotting random trainers Pokemon like it's nothing. Because of my preparation, I also knew the exact amount of repels I need to buy here to get me through the rest of the run. Damn, am I, like, in my speedrunning arc? Anyway, second, Norman Slacking has the potential to be the single slowest fight in the entire run. None of us will have anything that can match this in stats at this level cap. This was the fight that pretty much sunk any chance I had of coming back last time. If you can't deal damage quickly enough, it can slow the battle to a crawl thanks to the combination of its bulk, its Citrus Berry, and the move Yawn, which forces you to keep switching and doesn't let you take advantage of the Truant turns. The big problem is most of the moves that could let you break through are locked behind the level cap. My Hariyama, for example, doesn't learn Close Combat until level 46, so I'll have to go with Force Palm, which is literally half as powerful. Luckily, it did just learn Detect at level 30, so I'll have Counterplay against the Beast, but I know I still have to be careful.
Okay, somebody has to take one attack from Slaking, by the way, so I can get Hariyama in. Oh my god, that just outspeeds and kills. I'll tank one and I'll wish. Oh, that's perfect. If I fake out, he loses his turn, right? And has to loaf again, right? Yep. How many bulk ups do I need? Oh, he's... Yeah, he switches here. I think we knew this about Norman AI. Oh, fuck. I might have to kill Slaking with Beedrill then if he switches again. Nah, I'll just fucking kill him, right? Yeah, you try that. I think I just sack Hari, right? It's safer and it's faster. See ya, Hari. Norman down.
Surgical, loved it.
Nobody came anywhere close to my time through the Slacking. Wacko and Flygon, my closest competitors, didn't have fighting types that could set up like mine, and Slacking slowed them both down to a crawl. The super risky switch in play on Roxanne pays off crazy dividends here because I got to keep Makuhita alive. For the first time across both of these races, I was in first place. I knew I couldn't rest easy though. Flygon, just 3 minutes behind, still had access to teleport strats, and Wacko, only 5 minutes behind, had come out of nowhere to win the last race. And unfortunately for me, the part of the route that I practiced the least was coming up.
This route I practiced like only once. Oh my god, exactly. That's what I didn't even know this guy was a trainer.
This is the first optional trainer I hit all run, but the pause during the fight does lead me to make a crucial decision here. I remember from my last run that PP is at a huge premium during the Elite Four. Just how your PP can be at a premium with the sponsor of today's video, Manscaped. That's right, if you want to keep your downstairs region as organized and clean as my route through this draft race, Manscaped's Lawnmower 5.0 is just the right product for you. It's of course completely water resistant, so you can shave your downstairs area in the comfort of your shower. It's got this super useful LED light at the front, so you can always see what's going on. It's super skin safe. Legitimately, I've been using this thing for years and I've never cut myself. But that's not all Manscaped has to offer you right now, because this beautiful lawnmower is part of their classic beard and balls bundle. If you're also looking for a new beard trimmer, they've got you covered on that front as well. The Manscaped Beard Hedge Trimmer is here to give you a perfect trim in your face. Look, it's got this really satisfying clicky wheel to choose exactly what length you want to trim your beard to. It's perfect. It's also water resistant, also charges via USB-C, like every device should. What more do you need? Kick off the new year with a nice, clean, and groomed look. The Manscaped Balls and Beard Bundle is a great deal. Check them out below for 20% off. Manscaped.com/pChal or use code pChal at checkout. Get the lawnmower. Keep your PP at a premium. Thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. What the hell was I talking about again? Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, PP is at a huge premium during the Elite Four. You run out super quick and you can't buy any items to restore it. But the tree over here, by the optional trainer, has 2 Lepa berries, which restore PP. I sacrifice a few more seconds and pick them up, hoping they'll pay off. Of course, by the time I made it to Winona's gym, that lead I built up on Norman was already gone. But I knew I was never going to be able to cruise to victory in a race like this. From here on out, my movement's going to have to be clean, and I'm going to have to be willing to make some risky plays in battle, just like I did against Winona here. Florges managed to clutch up, dodging the Earthquake crit from the Dragon Dance boosted Altaria. I unfortunately had to play it slow to get the right sacrifice out there. I still needed Toxtricity and Florges for the many Water and Dragon type Pokemon remaining respectively. This time, I threw the useless Lycanroc Dusk to the wolves. 2 badges remained. Flygon and I were pulling away from the pack. He was less than a minute ahead of me, and I was nearly 7 minutes clear of Wacko in third, with Kid and Naqualai pretty much out of the running. I knew I was bound to lose some time to Flygon on the next split, Tate and Liza. My big weapon for the late game had been chilling in the box this whole time, Cubfu. Finally ready to evolve into Urshifu now that I can buy his evolutionary item in Lily Cove City. This does require an extra battle against May, who's blocking the department store, but I know the power of Dark Urshifu can absolutely make up the time. Flygon kept chugging through, skipping the department store and getting out of Tate and Liza while I was still navigating through the gym trainers. But with both Kingambit and Urshifu on my side, Tate and Liza went down in just 3 turns. It would have been 2, but I had to set up the Raticate sacrifice, because Kingambit still has work to do. Just then, I got the break I needed. Flygon made the trip all the way to Sootopolis just to realize he never picked up the Dive HM. That allowed me to regain the lead while he backtracked. But something felt off.
I just had a premonition. I'm about to fuck up Juan Gym Puzzle, unfortunately. I'm sorry, guys. I actually did it! Hold on. It's fine. It's not fine at all.
Flygon in Pseudopolis. A pChal in Pseudopolis. Ain't no way. Ain't no way, dude. Oh my god. That's gonna be the reason he loses the race.
It's not fine at all, chat. Oh my god. On the second layer, too. I've never fucked it up on the second layer before.
I mean, what else is there to say, man? The pressure got to me. At least Wacko made the same mistake later on in the race. But somehow, despite that huge blunder, I'm still in this race. My Juan started out slowly, thanks to Lovedus confusing my Toxtricity, but I was able to pull it together, get some clutch kills with Florges, and sacrifice Toxtricity. Losing my only Electric type hurts, but I know I'm going to be relying almost entirely on Urshifu and Fluttermane to get through the Elite Four. Oh yeah, the Paradox Pokemon. Alpharat saved these guys for the end of the auction with the idea that everybody would snag one of these insanely min-maxed and overpowered monsters solely for use in the Elite Four. We were banned from using them until then because they would make most fights trivial. I took Fluttermane because thanks to my helpful spreadsheet, I knew what I was missing was exactly a counter to Drake. But I knew Flygon had something potentially even stronger. Iron Bundle. A similarly fast and devastating special attacker with maybe the single most broken move for the final 2 fights of the game, Freeze Dry, the only attack in the game that is super effective against both Dragon and Water types. It's not enough to keep it close. I need a lead heading into Wallace. I hit an optional trainer in Victory Road, a section I practiced over and over again. It's the pressure getting to me here, which I thought might seal my fate, but Flygon was playing a bit sloppy himself. He ran out of repels, and the extra random counters he took were enough to let me get into the Elite Four first. My routing paid off one more time. My last repel runs out almost perfectly as I leave Victory Road. First up, Fluttermane to destroy the Dark types. Next, it's Urshifu's turn to take down the Ghosts. But wait, Wicked Blow only has 5 PP, and her Ghost type's abilities make me use up 2 instead of 1 every attack. Thinking fast on the fly, I equipped my previously picked up Lepa Berry to Urshifu to blast my way through Freebie. I was only 2 minutes ahead of Flygon, but for the first time in a couple battles, I was going to have to think against Glacia. I tried to save close combat PP by using Brick Break to kill her Celios. The first one went down no problem. Close combat took out the Wall Rain, and in came the next middle stage.
Can I set up... Oh, shit. What do I do?
An unlucky range for that to live for sure. This forced me to lose some time switching Urshifu out and back in again, and I decided I wasn't going to risk it again. I'd only have 2 close combats left. My second Lepa Berry was needed for Fluttermane's fairy moves, but I couldn't risk another survival. Despite the attract turn, I was maintaining the 2-minute lead over Flygon. On to Drake, time for Fluttermane to do its job. It took 3 kills and managed to tank a crunch from Salamence that I was absolutely sure was going to kill it. Here is where things started to slow down. Florges missed the one shot onto Altaria with Moonblast, and then
Body Slam. I might have been able to tank that. Ludi, you are... I don't know what to say, man. Every fucking time, dude.
This Kingdra wasn't done scaring the shit out of me either.
Uh-oh. Guys? I don't think I have any priority moves. Guys? Okay, it's a range! Oh my god! In welcher Welt, Bruder? Halt's Maul. I was still way ahead of Flygon, but I knew that Flygon had freeze dry. I needed to get Urshifu set up to one-shot Wallace's entire team. I clicked bulk up, prayed Urshifu could do it, and got ready to reclaim my title. Rain Dance. It's about to water spout. I have to hit it. Wicked Blow. Oh, come on. This is going to do 0. And now he's going to heal and I can bulk up again. It's perfect. He didn't heal. Why didn't he heal? It's so free. And Intimidate drop from Gyarados doesn't matter. Wicked Blow crits. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense. I'll just be +1 instead of +2. It's fine. Okay, how can I? I'm +2. Close combat kills this. How much Wicked Duck? Wicked Duck? That's my StarCraft username. Wicked Blow PP. Ooh, Jesus! What? Oh, I'm -1. I'm -1. I'm -1. That's fine. We're so far ahead. It's all good. It's all good. CC. Do I have one left? I don't think so, right? That was my last close combat. This might not kill. Eh, it's gonna kill. I'm +2. Gyarados last is so good. How much did I pay for this Urshifu again, guys? I'm just curious. Out of 50K available, I paid 3,200. See ya, buddy. We're living on borrowed time. The clock ticks faster. Fluttermane? I did teach Power Gem. That did 0.
Okay, last mon is down on Wallace.
Oh my god, you guys do not understand how close that was.
Wait, what? I lost? What a finish to a race, man. So, does this mean Flygon HD is the best Nuzlocker in the world? Honestly, who knows, man. He's definitely in the running, but like all categories, best Nuzlocker is completely made up. It's just vibes, right? And a race like this is pretty bad at determining how good someone really is at Nuzlocking anyway. I mean, hell, half of it is about speedrunning. I've said before that the whole best Nuzlocker in the world thing has always just been a marketing shtick of mine. It was just an easy way to communicate to new viewers what my content was about. I'm a guy that takes Nuzlocking really seriously. And at the time, that was a really novel concept. That's why I initially became successful. I was the only content creator who actually took their Nuzlocks to the extreme, instead of just seeing them as a funny way to get randomized Pokemon. There were no auction lock draft races or pro Nuzlockers back then. No Nuzzy awards, no whole culture and hundreds of streamers streaming this stuff every day. This whole amazing scene where players can go head to head just didn't exist. So while I did narrowly lose this race, it also showed me something way more important. I make the best content and have by far the most fun doing so when I, like I used to, try to be the best Nuzlocker in the world. Run and Bun video drops next month, my friends.